everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Sunday, January the 15th is race number 7 at Santa Anita. It's the Grade 3 $200,000 La Cañada Stakes, fillies and mares going a mile and a 16th. Let's take a look at this field. Please scan the QR code for Race of the Day access on mobile. This race was originally scheduled on Saturday. Rain in the forecast. They've redrawn the race. The same horses are back, Mike, just in different post position orders. And last week in the Sham at Santa Anita, we saw the other Baffert. I guess the other Baffert in here from a morning line standpoint is the 6 Under the Stars.
Yeah, I guess from the morning line standpoint, Under the Stars is the other Baffert. She's probably, at least in my opinion, the more talented Baffert, though. I guess the question that I have for you, Dan, is considering their most recent race, the Grade 1 La Brea, who was worse in that race, the Ganadora or Under the Stars?
They were both pretty bad. I guess if you wanted to say that Ganadora was part of the pace, and it was a pretty contested pace before tiring, and it was her first start in a couple of months, you can give her a little bit of a respite. Under the Stars was a little bit disappointing that day, but she was inside. Now she draws outside, and maybe stretching back out in distance will help Under the Stars. I'm curious to see how this race plays out from a pace dynamic. So we'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector, and Ganadora, who is stretching out, and the last time she did go 2 turns, she was a gate-to-wire winner against weaker horses at Los Alamitos. She is expected to make the lead, but Angel Nadeshiko is pretty fast, and Kirstenbach should show more speed on the stretch out.
Yeah, I don't know that Kirstenbach is fast enough really to be part of this pace, but maybe stretching out will help, and the rail draw certainly helps. I thought the 3 would make the lead. I'd be surprised if the 6 Under the Stars was that far away.
Kirstenbach, both of her lifetime victories came going 2 turns, but they took a shot, cutting her back to 7 furlongs for the La Brea. She was 30-1 in that race, and as we see, she was just outrun early. 7/8 seems a little bit sharp for her. She swings into the stretch. She's last, but she does get to the outside, and while she doesn't threaten for the win, she comes with a good, solid run for 3rd.
Yeah, pretty good performance here just to get up for 3rd. She never was a real factor in this race, but she does make a decent late run here. Dan stretching out. Feels like it could only help her. I'm actually a pretty big fan of hers. I think there's forward to go still for her. I suppose that she's going to have to improve one more time if she's going to win this race. But I'd be far from shocked if that were to occur. I want to see what kind of price she is. This isn't the kind of race where I just want to bet her at, whatever, 5-2 or 3-1. But I think she fits right in here.
But there's a chance she's going to be a bigger price than the 2 Bafferts. She just finished ahead of both of them at a distance that might be too sharp for her, and she should show more tactical speed stretching back out. The 2 is Angel Nadeshiko, who is going from turf to dirt, and that resulted in her maiden victory back on September the 11th. Let's watch her most recent dirt try, going the 2-turn mile at Santa Anita, where she was able to get to the lead, and she got a very nice breather down the backstretch, and that helped her as she just holds off the closers in the stretch.
Yeah, just everything sort of played to her advantage here. She broke from the rail, and when you go back and watch the beginning of this race, Dan, you can see how breaking from that position in a 2-turn mile race at Santa Anita can be a huge advantage. Victor Espinoza did everything right there. Just let her secure the inside. She got control of that pace around the first turn, and then she was pretty game to hold on there. It's not a fast race. I didn't think she could make the lead in here, and obviously she's going to have to up her game.
I think she will be aggressively handled out of there, but like you, I think the 3 Ganadora is just a little bit faster going to the pace call. Layoffs have been the problem for Ganadora. She's a 4-year-old. She's only raced 5 times, and it seems just as they get her 1 or 2 races, she has to go to the sidelines for a little while. In the La Brea, she was part of a pretty contested pace. She ended up making the rail on the turn, and she just was beaten pretty much from outside the quarter pole. It was a disappointing effort. Maybe getting back out to 2 turns on an easy lead would help.
Yeah, it probably would. I mean, fair enough if you just want to look at her and say that La Brea is a Grade 1 sprint and it's way too tough for her. I could certainly buy into that. She didn't run well in there. This is a better spot for her. I don't know, Dan. What are you really supposed to say about her? She won the Dark Mirage 2-back going a mile at Los Al. It was a terrible field, and she got loose on the lead. 1 start prior to that, the only time they've tested her so far, Summertime Oaks, Under the Stars buried her.
Yeah, Under the Stars was a very easy winner in the Summertime Oaks over Ganadora, who was sort of aggressively handled that day to try to get to the front, and she tired badly. We'll move on to the 4 Smooth Like Butter, who's hoping this pace maybe heats up a little bit. The problem is not only the fact that she lacks a winning profile, 9 seconds, 12 thirds, and only 2 wins from 35 starts, but this is a step up into a graded stakes, an open stakes of any kind.
Mhm.
While she's in good form off of this race, a runner-up effort and a first-level allowance at Del Mar, she's going to have to do better.
Yeah, it's hard to want to take her on top in here. Her running style, it seems like it just really works against her. She doesn't have a lot of speed. She runs fine in here to be second. I actually felt like the race two back when she was behind Angel Natashiko. I thought she ran pretty well that day to be third. She was really finishing up pretty well in that spot. I could certainly see her getting a piece of this, Dan, at a pretty big price. I don't think I'd bet her on top.
You might get Flavien Prat at a big price with the 5 Natural Color, who is a multiple stakes winner on turf, but will be making her dirt debut in the La Cañada. Let's watch her most recent race. This is over the Tapita surface at Golden Gate Fields, the Miss America Stakes. She was favored in behind horses in the upper stretch. She's going to find a seam, and she dives down to the inside, and she's going to finish second.
Yeah, good performance. I thought this was a solid field, and she ran pretty well in this race. Obviously, total different circumstances here, Dan, making her dirt debut. I don't know. She's not my kind of horse. I found it hard to like her in this race.
Under the Stars completes the field, and I really liked the way she won the Summertime Oaks back in June, where she pressed her stablemate, put her in the rearview mirror relatively quickly, and went on to a nice-looking effort. I didn't like that they gave her time after that race. She didn't break well in the Torrey Pines. That's a throwout. I was a little shocked that they turned her back in the Chillingworth. And maybe the worst thing that happened in a short-term potential is that she ran relatively well in that race, because then they ran her in the La Brea. Personally, I think she's a 2-turn filly.
I do too, and it's the only reason I'd be willing to give her the benefit of the doubt for the La Brea, which, obviously anybody can go back and watch it and draw their own conclusions, but she was awful in there. Listen, it was a little bit of a layoff, a distance that she probably doesn't want. I can't say I'm her biggest fan, Dan, but stretching back out is supposed to help her. She's got a good post on the outside. I think if she runs her good race, she wins.
Really, the break is the key for her, because she does have a tendency of sometimes getting out of there a little bit slow. We'll see how Juan Hernandez plays the break with the 6 Under the Stars. And of course, this race could be thrown into even more turmoil by the presence of a wet track. Very few, if any, of these horses have ever tasted that sort of surface. But before we get to our top picks, let's click the subscribe button, friends, on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for all the latest DRF video opportunities. Top pick time for the La Cañada. You're going with a Baffert. I'm going with a Baffert. The question is, who's going to be the other Baffert? I have a feeling Ganadora might be the other Baffert, despite being the expected pace setter. Under the Stars just has the class lines, doesn't she?
Yeah, it just feels like it's a good spot for her. Again, I'm not a huge fan. The only other horse that I really like, Dan, is Kirsten Bach. She's 5-2 on the line. Under the Stars is 5-2 on the line. I'll just wait to see how they bet the race. As far as picks go, I sided with Under the Stars.
I went with Ganadora. Like you, I'm a little bit interested in Kirsten Bach as well, stretching back out to perhaps a more appropriate distance. The rescheduled La Cañada is the DRF race of the day for Sunday. It's race number 7 at the Great Race Place Santa Anita. Approximate post time is 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Best of luck.